You've been lied to your entire life. Every leadership book you've read, every motivational speech you've heard, every success guru telling you to lead with integrity and be authentic. They're all selling you a fantasy that keeps you powerless. While you're busy trying to be the good guy, the real players are using a 500-year-old playbook that would make your stomach turn. A playbook written by a man so controversial, his name became synonymous with evil itself. But here's what they don't want you to know. He was right about everything. Right now, in boardrooms across the world, in political offices, in the companies where you work, leaders are making decisions that would horrify you. And they're winning. While you're losing sleep over being fair, they're taking what's yours. While you're worried about hurting feelings, they're building empires. This isn't about becoming evil. This is about understanding the game you're already playing, whether you know it or not. Niccolo Machiavelli didn't write for philosophers sitting in ivory towers. He wrote for people who needed to survive in a world where your best friend today becomes your enemy tomorrow. Where showing weakness for 1 second means losing everything. Where the person smiling at you is calculating exactly how to use you. Sound familiar? Look around your office tomorrow, your workplace, your social circle. The game hasn't changed. Only now, the players wear suits instead of armor. What you're about to hear will challenge everything you believe about success, about morality, about human nature itself. These aren't pretty truths. They're the kind of truths that successful people learn in private while preaching the opposite in public. The kind of truths that explain why certain people always seem to win, no matter how wrong it seems. In 1513, a failed politician sat in exile, watching everything he'd built crumble. Niccolo Machiavelli had lost his position, his reputation, his freedom. They'd tortured him, accused him of conspiracy, thrown him out like garbage. But instead of writing some feel-good memoir about resilience, he did something different. He wrote down the actual rules. Not the rules they teach you, the real rules, the ones powerful people actually follow. The Catholic Church banned his book. They called it the work of the devil. Leaders publicly condemned it while secretly keeping copies in their private libraries. Napoleon studied it. Stalin memorized it. Every major CEO you admire has read it, even if they'll never admit it. Because the prince doesn't tell you how the world should work. It tells you how it actually works. See, Machiavelli watched good leaders fail, over and over. He watched honest men get destroyed by liars. He watched moral leaders get overthrown by ruthless ones. And he asked the question nobody wanted to answer. What if being good is actually why you lose? Think about your own life for a second. Remember that promotion you didn't get? The one that went to the person who took credit for your work? Remember that relationship where you were honest and loyal, but they were playing games? Remember watching bad people succeed while you did everything right and still lost? Machiavelli saw the pattern. He just had the guts to write it down. He said something that would get him cancelled today. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved. Your boss doesn't need to like you. Your competitors don't need to respect your morals. They need to fear the consequences of crossing you. Because here's what your kindergarten teacher never told you. Being nice is a luxury only the powerful can afford. And even they don't do it. Here's the truth that'll mess with your head. Your morality isn't protecting you, it's imprisoning you. Every moral rule you follow, is a chain someone else put on you to make you predictable, controllable, defeatable. Machiavelli understood something brutal. Morality is a weapon the powerful use against the powerless. They tell you to turn the other cheek while they're throwing punches. They preach forgiveness while they destroy their enemies. They talk about fairness while rigging the game. Your conscience is their greatest asset, because while you're worried about doing the right thing, they're doing the effective thing. Think about every successful person you know. Really think about them. Did they get there by following all the rules, by never lying, by treating everyone fairly? Or did they know exactly when to break promises, when to betray alliances, when to crush opposition? They'll tell you stories about hard work and persistence, but they won't tell you about the bodies they stepped over, the promises they broke, the people they used. Modern psychology backs this up. Studies show that people with what researchers carefully call flexible moral standards are more likely to reach leadership positions. You know what flexible moral standards means? It means knowing when to lie, when to manipulate, when to destroy. The clinical term is adaptive behavior. The real term is being Machiavellian. Here's what happens when you're too moral. You telegraph your moves. Everyone knows exactly what you'll do because you're predictable. You won't lie, so they know they can lie to you. You won't betray, so they know they can betray you first. You won't fight dirty, so they know exactly how to beat you. Your morality isn't strength. It's a weakness they're exploiting. Machiavelli said it best. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, you must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten the wolves. You think being honest makes you noble? It makes you prey. The fox knows when to lie, when to deceive, when to disappear. The lion knows when to attack, when to roar, when to destroy. Which one are you? Or are you just a sheep pretending the wolves don't exist? Every leader who's ever survived understood this principle. You need two faces, not because you're fake, because your enemies have two faces, and if you only have one, you're already dead. The lion is pure force, intimidation, the power to destroy anyone who threatens you. When someone challenges your authority, you don't negotiate. You annihilate. You make an example so brutal that nobody ever tries again. This isn't cruelty. This is communication. You're teaching everyone what happens when they cross you. But here's where most tough guys fail. They're all lion, no fox. They're so busy roaring, they walk straight into traps. The fox is intelligence, deception, the ability to see 3 moves ahead while everyone else sees one. You smile at your enemies. You make them think you're harmless. Then you strike when they're not looking. Look at any successful tech CEO. They play the fox perfectly. They talk about changing the world, making life better, connecting people. Meanwhile, they're destroying competitors, buying politicians, manipulating markets. They wear hoodies and talk about innovation while acting like medieval princes. The only difference? They're better at it. The greatest leaders in history mastered this duality. Julius Caesar was beloved by his soldiers and feared by his enemies. He could charm the Senate one day and cross the Rubicon the next. Steve Jobs could inspire thousands with a speech about creativity, then destroy a supplier in a business meeting. They understood what Machiavelli knew. You don't survive with just one strategy. Your problem? You're trying to be consistent. You think having one personality makes you authentic. But consistency is a cage. Your enemies study your patterns. They know exactly how you'll react. They're counting on it. The fox changes, adapts, becomes whatever the situation demands. One moment caring, the next ruthless. One moment visible, the next invisible. This isn't about being fake. This is about survival. When someone comes for your job, your relationship, your success, what good is your authenticity? When they're spreading lies about you, what good is your honesty? You need to be the lion when they attack. You need to be the fox when they plot. And most importantly, you need to know which one to be before they do. Let me tell you something that'll make you uncomfortable. Cruelty, used correctly, is mercy. Sounds insane? Let Machiavelli explain with a story that changed how I see everything. Cesare Borgia conquered Romagna, a region drowning in chaos, crime everywhere. Nobody felt safe, people killing each other in the streets. So what did he do? He appointed Ramiro de Orco, the most brutal enforcer he could find. This guy was a monster. He crushed crime with an iron fist, public executions, brutal punishments, fear everywhere. The region became peaceful, safe, prosperous, but people hated Ramiro. They were terrified of him. So you know what Borgia did? He had Ramiro cut in half and displayed in the public square. One morning people woke up to see their tormentor destroyed. The message? Borgia gave them safety, then gave them justice. He was the hero who saved them from the monster he created. That's strategic cruelty. One calculated act of violence prevented thousands of acts of violence. One person destroyed so millions could live in peace. Your squeamishness about this. That's exactly why you'll never have real power. Modern leaders do this constantly, just with less blood. A CEO fires entire departments in one day instead of slowly bleeding the company. Brutal? Yes, but it saves the company. A manager publicly destroys one lazy employee to motivate 100 others. Cruel? Absolutely. But it works. They take the hit to their reputation because they understand something you don't. Being loved is worthless if everyone fails. Machiavelli's point was simple. It is much safer to be feared than loved because love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. Your kindness doesn't inspire loyalty, it inspires opportunism. People don't follow you because you're nice. They follow you because they fear what happens if they don't. This isn't cynical. This is observational. Look at every relationship you've had where you were endlessly giving. Did they appreciate it, or did they take more? The moment you show you're capable of calculated cruelty, everything changes. Not random cruelty, not emotional cruelty, strategic cruelty, the kind that sends a message, the kind that establishes boundaries, the kind that makes people think twice before crossing you. You don't have to use it often. You just have to prove you can. Your word is your bond? That's cute. Your word is a tool. Sometimes you keep it. Sometimes you break it. The skill is knowing which and when. Machiavelli watched princes make grand promises, peace treaties, alliances, trade agreements. Then he watched them break every single one when it suited them. And you know what? The ones who broke promises strategically ruled. The ones who kept them religiously got conquered. Here's what nobody tells you about promises. They're not made to be kept. They're made to buy time, to create opportunities, to make others drop their guard. Every promise you make is a chess move, not a sacred vow. The moment that promise becomes a liability instead of an asset, it's worthless. Think about business contracts. They're promises written in legal language. And what do successful companies do? They have entire departments dedicated to finding loopholes, to renegotiating, to breaking contracts when it benefits them. They'll pay the penalty if the profit is bigger. That's not dishonest. That's mathematics. But you're probably keeping promises that are destroying you, staying in relationships that drain you because you promised, staying in jobs that waste your potential because you gave your word, honoring agreements that only benefit others. Your loyalty to dead promises is killing your future. Machiavelli knew the secret. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests. Conditions change, situations evolve. The promise you made yesterday might be suicide today, but you'll keep it anyway because you think that makes you honorable. It doesn't. It makes you a fossil. The real skill isn't breaking promises randomly. It's breaking them strategically. You maintain enough promises to seem trustworthy. You keep the small ones that cost you nothing. You honor the ones with people who matter. But when a promise becomes a prison, you break it without hesitation, without guilt, without looking back. Watch successful people carefully. They're masters at this. They promise the world during negotiations, then deliver only what benefits them. They make grand commitments in public, then quietly abandon them in private. They use promises like weapons to disarm, to deceive, to advance. And while you're judging them, they're surpassing you. Machiavelli's most dangerous insight wasn't about strategy. It was about people. He said humans are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, harsh. Look at social media. Look at cancel culture. Look at how quickly love turns to hate when someone disappoints us. He didn't hate humanity. He just refused to pretend. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People are selfish. Not sometimes. Always. Even their kindness is selfish. They want to feel good about themselves. Their love is conditional, based on what you provide. Their loyalty is temporary, lasting only until a better offer appears. This isn't pessimism. This is pattern recognition. You've been taught that people are basically good, that everyone deserves trust, that humans are noble creatures capable of greatness. Sure, they're capable of greatness. They're also capable of betraying you the second it benefits them, of destroying you for entertainment, of forgetting your kindness the moment you stop being useful. The evidence is everywhere. How many friends disappeared when you stopped having money to spend? How many colleagues threw you under the bus to save themselves? How many relationships ended the moment you stopped providing what they wanted? Machiavelli saw this pattern 500 years ago. Nothing's changed except the technology. This knowledge isn't meant to make you bitter. It's meant to make you prepared. When you understand that everyone is ultimately self-interested, you stop being surprised by betrayal. You stop expecting loyalty without leverage. You stop giving without strategy. You start seeing people for what they are, not what you wish they were. The most successful people understand this implicitly. They don't trust anyone completely. They create systems that assume betrayal. They plan for backstabbing. They expect disappointment. And because they expect it, they're never destroyed by it. They use human nature instead of being used by it. Your problem is, you keep hoping people will be different. You keep believing in exceptions. You keep trusting without verification. And every time someone proves Machiavelli right, you're shocked. Stop being shocked. Start being strategic. Use their selfishness leverage their fear, manipulate their greed. Not because you're evil, but because that's the game everyone's already playing. Every CEO giving a heartfelt speech about company values. Every politician promising change. Every influencer talking about authenticity. They're all using Machiavelli's playbook while condemning it publicly. They've mastered the ultimate deception, appearing moral while being ruthless. Look at how modern companies operate. They talk about family values while laying off thousands. They preach sustainability while destroying the environment. They promote diversity while maintaining power structures. This isn't hypocrisy. This is strategy. The appearance of virtue is more valuable than actual virtue, because appearance is what people see. Reality is what gets results. Social media has made this even more powerful. Leaders craft perfect personas online, charitable, humble, relatable. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're making decisions that would horrify their followers. They understand what Machiavelli knew. Perception is everything. Reality is negotiable. The greatest modern manipulators have learned to weaponize empathy. They share vulnerable stories to seem human while calculating every word for effect. They apologize publicly for mistakes while planning their next move. They cry on camera while their lawyers destroy opposition. They've turned emotional manipulation into an art form. Watch how they handle crisis. They never defend. They redirect. They never apologize completely. They apologize strategically. They never show true weakness. They show calculated vulnerability. Every gesture is planned. Every word is tested. Every emotion is performed. And it works because you want to believe it's real. This is the evolution of Machiavellian thinking. It's not about being obviously cruel anymore. It's about being secretly cruel while appearing kind. It's about destroying competitors while talking about collaboration. It's about accumulating power while preaching equality. The wolves haven't disappeared. They've just gotten better sheep's clothing. Here's where we separate the winners from the victims. Everything you've just heard probably disturbs you. Good. It should, because now you have to make a choice that'll define the rest of your life. You can close this video, go back to your moral high ground, and keep losing. Keep being the good person who finishes last. Keep trusting people who'll betray you. Keep following rules that only you follow. Keep being prey in a world full of predators. That's your right. Many people choose comfort over success, morality over victory, sleep over power. Or you can accept the world as it actually is, not as you wish it was, not as they told you it was, as it is. Where power speaks louder than principle. Where fear trumps love. Where strategic cruelty prevents chaos. Where breaking promises strategically is smarter than keeping them religiously. Where being the fox and the lion isn't evil, it's evolution. This isn't about becoming a bad person. This is about stopping being a victim. This is about understanding that while you're playing checkers, they're playing chess. While you're following rules, they're making rules. While you're being nice, they're being effective. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to create tyrants. He wrote it to reveal tyrants, to show you how power actually works, so you can defend yourself, so you can compete, so you can win. The question isn't whether these tactics are moral. The question is whether you want to keep losing to people who use them. Tomorrow, you'll go back to your life. You'll face the same people using these strategies against you. Your manipulative coworker, your backstabbing friend, your calculating competitor. But now you'll see them. Now you'll understand their moves. Now you'll have choices. You can be the lion when strength is needed, the fox when cunning is required. You can break promises that imprison you, keep ones that empower you. You can use strategic cruelty to prevent greater suffering. You can see people as they are, not as you wish they were. Or you can keep pretending the world is fair, that good people win, that morality matters more than strategy, that being authentic is more important than being effective. You can keep that comfort. But don't complain when the Machiavellian players take everything from you. Because now you know the game, now you know the rules, now you know why leaders should never be moral. Because morality is a luxury only the powerless can afford. The choice is yours. Be the sheep who gets slaughtered, or be the wolf who survives. But whatever you choose, remember this. In a world full of Machiavellis, the only thing worse than being one is not knowing they exist. And now you know. The question is, what are you going to do about it?